and timely.
All right, now you are just in time for this discussion tonight here on The Spotlight. Tonight we shine a spotlight on the presidential debate 2022. Well, Raila Odinga says he will be no-show. Deputy President William Ruto says he will attend. Wajackoyah says if he's not on the same panel, or rather on the same podium with the rest of the candidates, then he will not attend. Gano Party leader Wahige Mwaure has not said anything in regards to that, but we know he's going to be attending this particular debate. So what exactly does this mean for the country and the people? Do these politicians actually owe us a debate? Well, that is what we are shining a spotlight on tonight. My guests are already in studio. Next to me here is Saddam Gashie, who is the Secretary of Democratic Party of Kenya, Kwanza. Thank you so much.
Asante.
And next to him is Crispus Wathimba, who is the Nakuru senatorial aspirant. Thank you so much, Engineer.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. Now we want to get into this discussion tonight. So remember to engage us on our socials at Amwai Brian on Twitter at LookUpTV. The hashtag is Spotlight. Tell us where you're watching us from, what you think about this conversation. What is your take? Should we have a debate? Is it important to you that you have these politicians on the debate platform actually debating one another on issues that affect the Kenyan people and what they plan to do for you? All right, before we get into that, I'd like to ask, or rather my director, to actually play us these particular clips that will be forming the basis of this discussion tonight.
Have been in a number of debates. Debates used to be that you get an opportunity to explain to the country your vision, what you want to do for them, who you are as an individual. And you know that in this particular election, Kenyans are crying for a Chapter 6 election. Integrity and character of the person who's seeking office is at the center of this election. So when you see a presidential candidate telling you that he will only attend the debate if you don't talk about corruption, that if you don't discuss integrity is the only time he will come, that if we don't discuss his past as a Kanu Hawk, somebody responsible for subverting the free will of the people in this country, that he will not attend. So why are we going for the debate? And I want to remind people that Uhuru Kenyatta is finishing his second term. He did not come for the debate in 2017. He was elected as a president.
Mimi nimekataa kwenda hiyo kitu. Kama waniweke na Raila, waniweke na Ruto, waniweke na Mwaure kwa meza moja, mimi siendi. Akiweka asiweko, William Ruto atafika president na atafika matano.
All right, now those are just sentiments from the political front in regards to this debate that is expected to be happening tomorrow. Let me start with you, Saddam. What do you make of that, these utterances and the importance of this debate for the country?
It is very unfortunate that presidential candidates, especially from the Azimio wing, would decline the invitation to attend the debate. Okay. This is an opportunity to discuss salient issues affecting this country. You see, debates are there to engage the electorate and also to receive questions from the panelists. It is an opportunity for you to deliberate on your intentions, on your ambitions, on your hesitations, on your affiliations, so that the electorate or the voter can get to understand you much better. Okay. It is very sad and very antagonizing for the former Prime Minister to decline this invitation. And I think it speaks volumes, I think, with the character and the demeanor of the Azimio wing, where they don't honor such invitation. It is very sad. And even in developed countries, first world countries, we all have these debates taking place, and the aspirants or the presidential candidates have an opportunity to engage the electorates and the panelists with regard to the nation building. It is so sad that Azimio candidate Raila Amolo Odinga has opted to opt out of the debate. Okay.
Yes. Now, Crispus, let me come to you. Just your take on what is happening. I'm going to attend, I will not attend. If I am not put on the same panel with these other presidential aspirants, also, I'm not going to attend. So, your take on that particular issue first.
I think for the Azimio formation,
They are taking lessons from the deputy president debate, where in the considered opinion of those viewed it, the Kenya Kwanza candidate
that is Rigathi Gachagua.
Got some credibility out of that debate, whereas Martha Karua, people came with a lot of expectations, but she did not live up to expectations. So as far as Raila is concerned, I think also they are looking at, you have to consider your weaknesses and strengths and see what opportunities can come out of this debate. Probably the weaknesses might really hinder his success, and therefore maybe they want to avoid exposing his weaknesses and rather look for his strength in other areas.
Now, is it a positive thing though for him to skip this debate for the country when the country is expecting him probably to be on the same platform with other contenders and debate it out, say, by the way, this is what I have for the country and we are going to make it?
Sometimes, there is this saying that, a silent fool among wise men is considered wise. So probably the silence that will be in this debate, as far as the Azimio side is concerned, probably will help them in one way or another, rather than be there and hard and maybe make some missteps in terms of the things that they will say or how they'll say them. Remember when they launched their manifesto, there was this thing about Mitumba and Mitumba business being shut down. Out of everything that he spoke at the manifesto launch, that was the only thing that was picked. And nobody was able to hear what they said about the manifesto.
The manifesto,
probably they fear the same will be eroded by maybe one slight mistake somewhere in terms of how they communicate tomorrow at the debate.
All right. Yes. Saddam, do they owe us a debate? Because looking at the past history, yes, we've had debates in 2013, in 2017, now we are expecting the third one in 2022, that is tomorrow. And just looking back, we see the first one, it was 100% turnout. The second one wasn't 100% turnout. Deputy President William Ruto then did not attend, and neither did President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, the same seems to be happening this time round. So do these people that want to go to State House actually owe us a debate?
They surely do. And it is very parochial for candidates, presidential aspirants to avoid having these debates. I'd like to note and take leave from the first world countries. Debates are held so that you can have different perspectives of a candidate. I'll give you a scenario. When you had the gubernatorial debate, it really brought forward the two front runners, Igathe and Sakaja. We came to know more of these gubernatorial aspirants through the debate. I'll give you another example, the deputy presidential debate. We had an opportunity to listen carefully and analyze and get to fathom our candidates. And it is on that platform that majority of Kenyans had an opportunity to listen to our incoming deputy president, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. And majority of Kenyans have now a different view of who he is. Maybe they thought he was a laid-back person with no grasp of the political landscape, but he proved them wrong and outrightly bet the Honorable Martha Karua hands down. And it is on the same breath that these debates, you don't engage in debates to preach to choirs. You engage on debates to preach to the people who are not converted. So from where I sit, I think it was very misinformed and not up to speed for the advisors of the Honorable Prime Minister to advise him to fail to attend the debate.
Let me come to you. What does he stand to lose if he does not attend this debate? We say probably some of the things that he's been advised based on what has happened before, looking at the deputy presidential debate that happened last week, and maybe they feel like he might not be strong enough to actually do a debate this time round. But some people are waiting to make their minds when it comes to that debate. Look at the candidates and say, now they've debated. I have been undecided on who I'm going to vote for, but now I've decided this is the particular candidate that I'm going to vote for.
So number one is that what he may lose in terms of missing out in this debate is that the undecided voter will not have an opportunity to decide on whether it's Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, given that one formation will not be present. but also what does he gain on this by missing out this debate? Remember, 2013 and 2017, Raila Amolo Odinga participated in these debates. Who was on the other side? It was Uhuru Kenyatta. Right now, today, he is on the same side with Uhuru Kenyatta. There are certain things that he asked Uhuru Kenyatta to address or to respond to, such as the issue of land. Today, he has to defend his association with Uhuru Kenyatta. And maybe somebody will say, 2017, you said Uhuru Kenyatta is owning so much land and the family. But today, you are silent on this issue. What is the position of Azimio on the land issue?
You will actually be raising a question that somebody will be picking from you tonight and saying, let's ask this question.
Exactly. You've put CS there called Joho to discuss the issue of land, and yet one of the areas where land has been an issue is in the coast region. What is your position on this? Will that position be contradicting his position in 2013 and 2017? So the best thing would be silent.
Okay. Now, let's look at now what should be the topics that should be discussed in this debate, because looking at what Azimio says, he says, let me just take what they said when they were actually rejecting. They said, our opponent has no regard for ethics, public morals, or shame. That is why he has demanded that the debate not focus on corruption, integrity, ethic, and governance, the key essential existential question that Kenya faces. Now, these issues sit at the core of the Azimio campaign. Any debate devoid of these questions will be an insult to the intelligence of Kenyans. Now, Azimio wants issues to do with corruption, integrity, and ethics and matters governance to actually be the center of this debate. And Kenya Kwanza says we want to talk about issues affecting the common people, that is the economy and matters health and among other issues. So what should be the subject of this debate? What should it focus on mostly with these candidates? Let me start with him and then I come to you.
Okay. First and foremost, the issue of unemployment. It's very rampant. We have 75% of this country being the youth, where the rate of unemployment is so sad, is so high, and it's very saddening. Number two, I would like us to address the issue of food security. We'd like to have this country venture more into agriculture to ensure that we have sustainable food security in this country. In this 21st century, it is so sad that we have Kenyans who are dying out of hunger. The situation is dire in Turkana, especially Turkana North. The other thing I'd like us to address the issue of the economic empowerment amongst the Kenyan people. We have the interest rate, especially on credit facilities, is so high. So those three pillars are very critical, especially when you attach them and interlink them with our plan, the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. Okay. So from where I see it, unemployment, food security, and the inflation and the economic resuscitability of this country are the three pillars that I wish we could address. Now,
what do you say of what the Azimio coalition actually says should be touched on in this debate, that is matters to do with corruption, integrity, and actually governance?
It is very sad. You see, Azimio have taken so much of their time preaching on the issue of integrity, but on the same breath, I'd like to remind Kenyans that Raila Amolo Odinga, his name was mentioned in the Kazi Kwa Vijana corruption scandal, that his name truly featured a big part of the discussion. And to his running mate, Honorable Martha Karua, we know of the land that she awarded to his relatives in Ngariama.
Okay,
and
those are just allegations.
But as much as the allegations, you see Lisemwalo Lipo. And it is on the same breath that when we had the deputy presidential debate going, she was truly caught off guard and unawares when the issue of the Ngariama land was mentioned.
Okay, now we'll come to that. But now this is the thing I want you to help me understand. Are these issues important? Should they be addressed? Matters corruption, integrity, and also governance. Should they be addressed in this debate?
Sure, they should be addressed. Okay. You see, you are innocent until proven guilty. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Now, Senator, let me come to you. These issues and what we want to have addressed in this debate, or where you sit, what would you feel this country needs to be, or rather, what should be the subject of this debate coming tomorrow?
Of importance to every Kenyan today is that the economic situation is not good.
Okay.
Corruption has been attributed as one of the main cause of this. Mismanagement of the whole economy is also another factor. Mismanagement of the promises made by the Jubilee administration in terms of the Big Four have contributed also to the situation. Like today we have the issue of food security. So those are some of the issues that should be able to be discussed. But if you look at corruption, that none of these two candidates have been prosecuted or charged with any economic crimes. It's just political or pronouncement that you are associated with the corruption or people around you are associated with corruption. But none of the candidates have been, charged with corruption. So therefore, for one formation to the other to put this as an agenda, it will just be an issue of throwing jabs at each other. But there is no basis as to it because there is no case that has been attached to any of the candidates. Right. But when it comes to...
But these are people in the political arena, so maybe when they start pointing fingers at one another, it's something you can actually be following and say, okay, you know one another quite better.
But so it gives the organizers of the debate a difficult time because you can't go mentioning issues without facts because this is a public court. Right. You must be very careful with what you allow to be discussed. So on the issue of economic challenges that the country is facing, remember Raila Molo Odinga was not in government between 2013 and 2017. Then, unfortunately or fortunately, there was a handshake, which the other side is now saying, because of you coming to the handshake, our economic dream failed, and therefore he will be challenged to defend that position, which also puts him in a very awkward position because he was not running government, but he was associated with government. And during this last term of Jubilee is when Kenyans have faced a lot of economic challenges. Food security, COVID came in, the economic growth, the growth of the economy has been a problem. So for that, Raila to defend is not going to be easy because he was trying to say, I have not been in government, but Ruto will tell him, when you joined government through the handshake, I was kicked out and I was not able to do my work as the helper of the principal. So that debate probably will be just jab after jab, but there's nothing important coming out of it. So
it might end up actually being an attack to the other, just people trying to defend their personality and integrity.
Exactly, without the two main candidates bringing out the best. And that's why I agree with the Wajakoyo that if there's going to be a debate, let everybody be there so that people like Wajakoyo can be able to align issues so that we forget about the personality attacks and focus on the issues to be discussed.
All right. Now that actually brings me to my second question, or the question I wanted to ask. With the issue of differentiating, rather having them debate differently, what do you take of that? Because Wajakoya says, if I'm not going to be on the same panel with Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto and Agano Party Leader Waige Mwaure, then I'm not going to attend this debate. Should they be on the same panel?
You see, I really would like to sympathize with the Wajakoya sentiment, but I think when your ratings is at 1% and you want to debate on the same panel or platform with someone whose ratings is slightly over 50%, I think you're being unfair. You see, the reason why the panelists chose to have two separate debates is so that we can have ample time for we the voters to take a critical analytical look at perspective with regard to each presidential candidate. If we have you debating issues, as much as maybe you're a good debater or good orator, but your ratings are low, even if you are the best debater, it is very unfortunate because we want to hear from this candidate who has slightly over 50%.
What if the person with the lowest ratings could actually gain ratings in that debate when they are allowed to debate each other, all of them?
There's a possibility for him to gain ratings, but not significant ratings, because only 13% of the voters are undecided. So if you have you on the same platform with these front runners, as we call them, it is going to to minimize the time that Kenyans are very eager. You see, previously during campaigns, it's only the leaders, political leaders, who have an opportunity to talk to the electorates. But now during this debate, we have now the conversation is two-way traffic.
It's coming to us now.
Yeah.
Let me just read something that the debate secretariat said. It said, this is a quote: "We continue to engage all stakeholders, including the various presidential campaign teams. We are committed to making the debates as inclusive and representative as possible for the benefit of the Kenyan people." Now, this is happening when Right Honorable Raila Odinga says he's going to be having a town hall to have different candidates, or rather not different actually candidates, have Kenyans ask him questions directly. What do you make of that? Why would that happen on the day that this debate is actually happening?
I think the Constitution of 2010 made sure that everybody is represented at any forum, including the minority. So as my fellow panelist is saying that 1% doesn't matter in this conversation, it's important that the 1% also questions the majority. Because you may think that the 1% may not have the popularity, but they might be carrying that voice that many people may not have, because there are certain issues that Wajackoyah may be able to articulate, because he does not come from a history of where he has a relationship with Odinga or a relationship with Ruto. You remember Ruto and Odinga worked together in 2007. They were together. Even as we came to the post-election violence, Ruto was defending Raila's position. So these are people with a history. But Wajackoyah and Mwaure, they don't have a history with these people. So they may be able to ask certain questions. Even if they don't have that popularity, they should be given an opportunity to question the other candidates, also be questioned by the other candidate. Because remember, Wajackoyah is also promoting something that is not acceptable to many Kenyans, the use of consumption of weed. So Raila and Ruto should also be given an opportunity to question Wajackoyah and be able, and maybe he can be able to give his position on that. So I think for now, there are 4 candidates. There's no harm in all of them being given an equal platform. If the debate will take 3 hours, let it be. I think it's not fair for them to be silent. I'm also looking forward to our senatorial debate in Nakuru, and we should all be given a chance to question each other.
Exactly.
Remember, Abduba Dida was the one of these candidates who was a minority. But Kenyans keep on resonating with the issues that he brought up in the various debates he participated in.
All right. Yeah. They say you don't have to actually be looking like somebody who is going to win, but you're actually on that platform. And if you want to add something to that.
I would like maybe to also maybe point out something to from my colleague, that as much as we'd like maybe to hear the good narratives, the nice rhetorics, the good storytellings, it is only clear that in this country, come the 9th of August, there are only 2 front runners. Between Raila Amolo Odinga and the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. There's no miracle that can happen from past history, going by past histories, that even we engage all these other presidential candidates, there's nothing that they knew they'll bring on the table. That's my take. I stand to be corrected.
Okay, but this is the thing. Maybe they may not make a difference, but you see, somebody might have settled on either Raila Odinga or Deputy President William Ruto because they felt we don't have any other choice, that I'll say a better choice. So if I had somebody else come on a platform and talk to me, because this is a debate that the whole country will be watching. The Media Council just released data that say that 37 million Kenyans who are watching the debate on the deputy presidential debate. So this is a big platform for all these candidates, right? It's a big platform for the voters, for Kenyans to listen to the 2 presidential hopefuls of this country. If we add the bracket and ensure that we have minimal time, it is very unfair. As I said earlier, if a candidate's rating is less than 1% and he's sitting on the same panel with somebody whose ratings is over 50% of the voters of this country, I think there's no fairness with regard to that debate. Number 2, if the rest of the presidential aspirants, maybe number 3, the ratings, we have Wajackoyah and Mwaure, if they have anything maybe that is maybe of great importance to this country, they have an opportunity to engage the 2 front runners
at a different platform. Debates are there to ensure that it is the electorate or the citizenry engaging the candidates. It's not the candidates engaging each other.
Okay. Now, I want us to finalize on this particular issue. The issue of leaders and these presidential candidates now having to have a hand in what is going to be the subject of this particular debate and what is going to be discussed, what sort of questions we are going to be answered on what particular issues. Why would they feel so important, like to the extent of wanting to drive some particular narrative? Is it okay now, because now, like you say, it is a time that Kenyans need to ask the questions? Do they need now to say, okay, Kenyans, you might ask me a question on corruption, but kindly don't touch on matters economy. You will ask me on economy, but don't ask me on corruption. Is it the right thing to do in this particular issue?
No, it's not right for them to select which questions to be asked. I think Kenyans have the right to ask any question that they feel is important on this debate. Okay. So and also it's a good opportunity for Kenyans to be able to ask those questions that they're not able to ask in public rallies. Remember, in public rallies, it's just leaders coming to say, I'm requesting for your vote, I'm endorsing this person. There is no opportunity for Kenyans to be asked to ask questions. So through this debate and through the organizers of this debate, Kenyans have been given an opportunity to share issues that they need answers from, and the presidential aspirants or candidates will have ample time to be able to explain those issues or how they'll deal with those in detail.
All right.
On the issue of the other minority candidates, I think it's also important to remember that we require to win 50% plus one. In the event these two minority candidates increase their rating from 1% to 3% from a debate, the possibility of a runoff is very clear, because as much as all the main frontrunners are saying they are leading, none of them have a commanding lead of 50% from the various polls that have been done. So as the undecided voters come on board, you don't know to what extent they will take them. If they take you, for example, to 49%, and they take 49% both sides, meaning we'll end up with a runoff. So nobody should be sitting there comfortably saying that I've already got my 50% because of the other people being there or not.
Right.
So it's important that everybody is given a chance. We may end up with a runoff.
Okay.
You never know.
Now, maybe that's one of the things that's, I don't know, probably we should wait and see that.
But on the same breath, as we preempt a runoff, it is very critical to note that in the event there is a runoff, it is going to be number one and number two battling out at the ballot. So it goes without saying that the supporters of number 3 and 4 will automatically align themselves to the number one and number two. This is with regard to the runoff. What I'd like also to add is to ask why do we have candidates who want to dictate the questions to be asked? And it is on the same breath that I want to reply a clip where the SG ODM said that we in Kenya Kwanza are saying we wouldn't like our candidate to be questioned with regard to questions integrity, and which is false. It is not true. The Director of Communication, William Samoei Ruto, Director of Communications Campaign Secretariat, Hussein Mohamed, wrote a letter to the presidential debate organizers, the Media Council, and asked them to ensure that there is fairness. He, number one, pointed out fairness with regard to the time allocation. He pointed out some few more points, but nowhere did he mention the issue of not to be asked questions of integrity or any other question. So what our competitors or our worthy competitors, the Azimio coalitions, are good at is they behave like Cerelac babies, and when issues of national importance are mentioned, they behave like babies at bedtime. So it is very clear that these coming elections is going to be solely based on issues, character, and track record. One cannot be in the public service for over 3 decades and you have nothing to show for it.
All right, will be able to judge that. We wind up now. I'm out of time, but I'd like your final words on what you are expecting in this debate. What is your expectations tomorrow, and also what is your expectations, Saddam? Let me start with you, Senator.
I was looking forward to hear from Raila and Ruto, especially on the manifesto, and also on their strategies in terms of tackling the issues of corruption and reviving the economy. The first 100 days, those are very critical for us Kenyans because the economic situation is very bad. So we need to know what strategies these people have in place so that they can be able to tackle the economic situation we have at the moment. Lastly, I just request the people of Nakuru turn up in large numbers, vote for me as your senator. I'm one of the independent candidates, and I'm looking forward to being your senator, one of the first one as independent, and be able to deliver on the promise of a shared economic prosperity, peace and unity, and leadership and transformation.
I wish you success on that. Saddam, your final words, your expectations tomorrow.
My expectations tomorrow I'll call upon all Kenyans to ensure that we tune into the debate. This is a candid and unique opportunity to get to learn more about the candidates' ambitions, intentions, belongings, and aspirations of this country. I would also want to request all national leaders to be sensible in their words, in their thoughts, in their tweets, in their deeds. Since after the 9th of August, we're still going to have this country. So let us be careful, let us be vigilant, let us participate in this historic, democratic process, and let us not be left out in history making of this country.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Saddam Gashie and Crispus Othimba, who have been my guests tonight, senatorial aspirant Nakuru County, right? Yes, we wish you success when it comes to that. And also Secretariat Democratic Party and under the Kenya Kwanza, right? All right, thank you so much for your time and making time for this discussion tonight and shining a spotlight on the presidential debate tomorrow that has been marred with quite a lot of controversy, if I may. Let me just take some of your feedback here. Puri Queen says if the Azimio himself decided not coming to the debate, then he will lose terribly on the 9th of August. Yes, James Kinyo says no Wajakoya, no debate. Sesmo Time says, good conversation going on here. I feel like these leaders are playing with our minds. If the debate is impossible, then we call it off instead of challenging the integrity of a common mwananchi. Selector Brian says, watu wa Azimio hawana agenda hata kidogo kuongozwa na kina Sifuna. All right. Okay, those are some of your feedback. Thank you so much for tuning in and being part of this discussion tonight on the Spotlight. Let's do this again next time. My name is Brian Amuai. Have yourselves a lovely night. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Felista Adundo. All right?